Hello and welcome to Friday's edition of TU News.
I'm Louis Scorza.
And I'm Natalie Devonshire.
Coming up in today's show, are young people relying too heavily on social media? New research indicates that some young people now prefer to make friends online.
Another year ends for Teesside University as our Vice-Chancellor retires after 15 years.
And we talk to our new SU President about what he's been doing so far. Our top story today.
New research shows that some students now prefer to make friends on social media sites instead of real life.
The results show a major increase in the number of online friendships developing, with some students claiming to be addicted to Facebook and Twitter.
In this report, Jamie Crowe talks to a young woman who has suffered from negative experiences online but still uses social media regularly.
Social media is faster becoming part of everyday life, but is it for better or for worse? For 19-year-old Katie, she knows only too well the pain of being an online victim. Sitting here with her roommate, she shared her experience of cyberbullying.
People who I used to be friends with, we fell out, and then they would post things all over Facebook about me and like tag me in things and just make my life a misery about it. And I think in some ways that's really bad because there's no getting away from it. Everybody who you know, all your circle of friends, people who you went to school with, college, uni, they're all on your Facebook and everybody can see what that person is saying about you. So I think that when things like that happen, it's really bad because people don't realise how much it can put somebody down as a person.
But surprisingly, it has not stopped her online profile. In fact, she uses it more than ever to meet new people.
It gets to the point where I'll wake up in the morning, the first thing I check is my phone. Like, I constantly check my phone. So, but I think that's like everybody. I could sit in a room with my friends and guarantee like 70% of the time we'll all just be sat there texting.
Online profiles are more rapid than ever, with recent surveys claiming 25% of young people now prefer to meet people online, while another claimed 25% are actually addicted to Facebook and Twitter. Paul van Schaik, a professor of psychology here at Teesside, explained some of the reasoning behind this new trend after carrying out a study of students' emotions online.
In reality, that many of the things that people were saying were related to particular needs that they may have. For example, relatedness to other people. For example, competence, being good at something. Other things might have been people's identity, for example. These things came out of the interview. So these gives some idea of what drives students to use social media like Facebook. You don't see the person face to face, so people may feel more at ease of talking or sharing things. The people that they're talking to may not be known to them, but they may feel secure because they're at a distance, and if something goes wrong, then they will never see the person again, probably.
So, are students now feeling more comfortable online, and what will be the consequences long term? Jamie Crowe, Teesside News.
In a special celebration, Black History Month has come to Teesside.
To celebrate this event, the university has hosted a range of activities, including cooking classes, public lectures and an African culture night.
Sophie Finnegan and Alex Ryder visited a music night at the Student Union that celebrated music from British reggae to traditional Sudanese.
Black History Month is celebrated in the UK every October and has been since it started in 1987.
Black History Month can only be improved by students themselves taking the initiative and saying, well, what can I teach you about my history? Public lectures, through public events of various sorts, there are ways for students to get involved, to come along and see what we're doing. Engaging with ethnic minority groups via things like Black History Month is a way to increase inclusion.
One way for students to get involved was the music gig that was held in the Student Union.
I think events like this can help raise awareness for Black History Month purely by bringing across artists who actually, like well-established artists in their communities, countries, in all of Africa, you know. So just by the fact that they're playing, there's that exposure to the music, if you like. But also what I've noticed in this event is actually a coming together of lots of different communities, as it were, to see, because you've got like a Sudanese artist on, a Congolese artist on, and a couple of artists from England playing. You know, so it's brought different communities together to watch the music.
The community was certainly together while the event was held on Wednesday.
And to gain insight into Black History Month, we have a very special guest in the studio.
Musimba Musodza, thanks for talking to us today.
Thanks for
Hello,
being here.
thanks.
And firstly, can you tell us a bit about your story and why you came to England from Zimbabwe?
I came to England in the year 2002. Those of you who follow current affairs would know that there were problems in Zimbabwe at that time. They're still there. So, you know, I came over as a refugee.
Right. Can you tell us anything more about that, or why you came to England?
Well, what it is I worked as a writer, and at that time people were becoming tired of the government of Mr. Robert Mugabe, and people were becoming openly critical of it. So being a writer, obviously, you know, we were the first people to be like the subject of
Mm.
persecution by the state.
Unfortunately.
It's one of those things that people take for granted here,
Yeah.
the ability to write or say whatever they feel, but you know, it's not quite the case there.
Yeah, it's a completely different story over there, it must be. So it's Black History Month. How have you at all celebrated Black History Month? If so, how have you done that?
Well, I was going to do a presentation, but then, you know, there was a communication hitch with some of the venue owners. But for me, it's to tie it with British history. A lot of people think that Black history starts with the Windrush or with the slave trade, but actually, based on like archaeological findings, people as far back as Viking times, as Roman times, were familiar with Black people. There were Black people coming in from those times. A lot of people in England don't realize this, but they have Black ancestry as well. So Black History Month it's for everyone. It's for everyone in Britain, you know, not just people with a dark skin.
Mm. So what can you tell us about, can you expand? You said that people in Britain can relate to it. How does that happen?
Well, for instance, the Roman emperor who conquered England, Septimus Severus, he was an African, and he brought with him thousands of Sudanese soldiers who then settled. Most of them settled around this area because they were here to build and maintain Hadrian's Wall, for example. So a lot of people, and scientists have confirmed this with genetics, a lot of people do carry the Y chromosome sequence that is found in what they call sub-Saharan Africa. Oh. So you can't really separate Black History Month from the rest of, you know, you can't separate Black history from the rest of British history. It's always been there. You look at ancient paintings, Norman times, there were Black knights, you know, wearing, you know, like Black British mail and armor and shields and so on. There were Blacks in Tudor times. Morris dancing. There was a controversy recently, pictures of people, you know, white people in blackface dressed in the Morris dancing costume. But the reality is that they were trying to connect to the African origin of Morris dancing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there is an actual connection there between Morris dancing?
Yeah, there is an actual connection.
That seems quite strange to me, don't you think? Morris dancing, I thought, what is it?
Well, more was the old word for Black people.
Right.
So Morris, Moorish,
yeah.
You know, as in Black people. So that's what it literally means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Morris dancing is.
No, I remember those people with sticks.
Sticks?
Jumping up around.
Yeah,
is that is Morris dancing, isn't it? I'm thinking
we'll
the right
we'll
thing.
YouTube it later, Yeah,
it's an English tradition.
Yeah.
St. George, he's been a patron saint of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church for centuries before he was adopted as the patron saint of England.
Yeah.
You know, the oldest depictions show him as a black man with an afro. Yeah, that's the St. George, the National Front's logo.
I'm sure. You know so much.
Well, I had to do a lot of reading.
Is this all included in your presentation?
Oh, yes.
Or is there a lot more that you can tell us about the Black British presence predating colonialism?
Yeah. Well, like I said, you know, the Vikings, there's representations of black people in like Viking remains. So they knew what black people looked like. They were familiar. They had, you know, black sailors amongst them.
Yeah.
So why I think this is very important is that we live in times where race or black people has become a political subject, where certain political figures say that, you know, the whole country is being invaded. Yeah, history will show that, you know, over the centuries, black people have always been coming to England, and they haven't, you know, we haven't damaged the country yet. You know, we haven't changed the way it looks, we haven't changed the way people look. We've assimilated, basically. And that, I think, is very important for Black History Month, especially in this time and age where immigration and race are political issues.
That must upset you when you see, like, in the media about people, like, say, people coming from other countries to find refuge here. I mean, does it, and sometimes in the media it can get portrayed as really bad for the people who are coming over, but they do need help. Does that affect you in any way? I mean, does it upset you?
It's an irrational fear, but for me, you know, being a writer and being very outspoken, what I do try is shed light, you know, bring out the facts that there is nothing to fear at all. You know, this country's not going to be swamped by foreigners. People have been coming from all over the world, not just Africa, from Europe. Our royal family, where they're from, you know. There's nothing to fear. It's just people trying to create a fear and then building their whole lives around it. But there's no need for it. And this is what Black History Month then shows, you know. That's why I think it's very important to celebrate it. But maybe the controversy is on the name, because it sounds like it excludes people who are not black. Whereas, you know, like I've just said, that because a lot of people in the Northeast region do actually have a genetic connection to Africa, you know, we're all connected that way.
Well, I really didn't know that. That is something that I've learnt today. I'll take it with me for the rest of my life.
Culture lesson. And
I know,
science lesson
I've learnt so much.
Brilliant.
It's the best interview I've ever done, I think. Yeah.
Well,
Well, thanks for coming in
Well,
and
thanks for
speaking to
inviting
us.
me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Masimba.
And thank you to Masimba for coming in and speaking to us today.
With more than 40 years in education and 15 at the university, next year we say goodbye to one of Teesside's most popular Vice-Chancellors.
Professor Graham Henderson's tenure at the university has seen a number of drastic changes. He has been the driving force for growth and international recognition.
I went along to talk with him about his achievements on campus and how it feels to be leaving after such a long period.
So first of all, thank you very much for agreeing to do this with us today.
Delighted to help.
Thank you very much. And I figured we'd start straight away. Having been at the university for 15 years, what does it feel like to be leaving?
Very mixed feelings, really. It's been the best job in the world. I've absolutely loved every moment of it. But the end had to come sometimes. I suppose, you know, it's a mixture of looking forward to the things I might do next and being very sad to go.
And what would you say is the most significant change you've seen since your tenure at Teesside began?
It's status and reputation. Probably as students you don't see it, but our standing within the sector has just improved beyond all recognition. And so I think we have real stature now as an institution.
So is that what you're most proud of, the university's growing reputation?
Well, I think so, and I hope no one in the university, I always say this, I hope no one in the university would be upset by me saying we couldn't have been University of the Year 15 years ago. But, you know, in the 90s, we were never being perceived as being a top performing university.
What was the atmosphere around the senior members of staff here when that award and also the Queen's Anniversary Award for Business?
Well, when we won the award, we were at a dinner in London with 1,300 people there, over 110 Vice-Chancellors, hosted by Clive Anderson, and a number of my senior managers were there with me. And I remember when Clive Anderson said, would you like to say something to the audience? And it stuck in my mind. There were over 110 Vice-Chancellors in the room, and I've just been told we are the top University of the Year. And that was probably the pinnacle of my whole working life. And then the Queen's Anniversary Prize, I stood in Buckingham Palace. There were some students there, that was lovely, but I stood in Buckingham Palace with the Chancellor, who nudged me and said, look around, Greg, it doesn't get any better than this. University of the Year, Queen's Anniversary Prize for Teesside University, it just doesn't get any better than this.
So do you think those awards not only enhanced the reputation of the university, but sent waves over Middlesbrough and Teesside to better the reputation?
Absolutely. Not just I would say around the world, you know. Internationally, universities and partners abroad, who probably wouldn't have thought of Teesside as a natural partner, suddenly wanted to work with us because we were the UK's top University of the Year. And And of course here in the Tees Valley, everyone was just absolutely delighted.
Over summer, Middlesbrough has seen a breakthrough in vintage pubs, perfect for the student lifestyle.
The Twisted Lip on Baker Street is one such place and is gaining popularity for its old-style decor and range of fine ales.
I went along to see what the fuss was about. Hidden in the heart of Middlesbrough's town centre is a beer lover's haven. The Twisted Lip is the latest addition to Vintage Quarter, Baker Street. Conveying a traditional British theme, this quaint pub offers 3 select, hand-picked ales, chosen from both local and worldwide breweries. Owner, Erica Soul, hopes that the bar will bring a bit of culture back to Middlesbrough, offering a unique service.
We try to use local produce with our hand pulls from Matthew Truefit, which is just on Oxon's Industrial Estate around the corner. Just something different, just trying to give people as much choice and range as we can. Trying to have a dark, an amber and a pale on so that everybody will try and please everybody, I suppose, with our little selection. But yeah, it does change from week to week. It was already situated in a fantastic location. As you can see, the street is now booming. A lot of money's been put in through the council to try and get little local businesses up and running, and it's just a fantastic place to be at the moment. People get quite surprised when they come in because they never know what to get, but everyone's allowed a little taste before they commit themselves to a full pint.
With business booming and Baker Street ever expanding, I asked Erica what the next steps are for the Twisted Lip.
We're looking to extend into next door where we'll be giving an even bigger range of bottles and craft lagers, beers. So at the moment it's just 3 down here, as you can see it's only tiny.
Now, as many will have seen, the Student Union has undergone a major renovation over the summer with a £1 million project to improve student services and the nightlife.
Joining us now in the studio is our new SU President, Mr. Will Ridley. Hi, and thanks for joining us, Will.
Thank you.
How are you settling into your presidential role so far?
Yeah, really well. It seemed like it was quite a long gap, really, because I was elected in March. So there was kind of a time when I was president-elect, but then to actually start in July, it's been really good, and had a summer without students being here, but obviously been in a temporary office over the summer and looking the SU transform, basically. And then, when the students have come back, it's been really good, and I feel, very settled now as such, get my teeth into different things, yeah.
So you've been in office since July. What projects have you worked on between that time and now?
Yes, well, I've wanted to kind of plan for the year ahead because obviously when students are back, it's busy. So so I planned in the summer different campaigns, including value for money. Because obviously students pay so much for fees. I want to make sure that students are getting value for money in the course. I'll do also working on housing campaigns, and that's actually what's one launching today. Which is kind of like a Halloween housing event, and then there's lots more to do with general election and different things like that. So there's a real range, but then also the main one is a campaign called SU on Tour, where we go into schools and get as much feedback as possible from students, and that's kind of the one where react to what we hear really.
Wonderful. So you work as part of a team with the other student officers.
Yeah.
What is that like? I mean, it must get stressful.
Yeah, it is, because I suppose we're all kind of student leaders as such. So we're all got our own points, we've all got our own agendas of what we want to do and things. So we're all really passionate. We're all really passionate about different things. But it's good fun. Really good fun. We've all got great ideas, and we like to think anyway. And
no fallouts yet?
No fallouts. Sometimes different opinions, but it's all good. Democratic and all that. But yeah, it's been good fun. And Jodie was there last year, so she's kind of been telling us all kind of induction us into the role really, which has been useful to us newbies.
Whenever you've not known what to do, you've had to harass Jodie a bit.
Yes, basically.
Poor Jodie.
I know.
Fountain of knowledge though, really.
She's a lovely girl, so I'm sure she's fine with it.
Oh yeah.
No, Jodie's great.
But one of the funny things is though, I've come in September, and some of the new students, have seen that there's been this transformation, but didn't know what it was like before, and they think that we've done it. So we're walking into it thinking, oh yeah, this is all us. We've done all this. But,
on your hands and knees.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, yeah, it's good.
They have done a marvellous job.
They have, yeah, and I mean, we say only £1 million, but it's a lot of money, and we'd like to think that we've done the best we can with it, and yeah, definitely, the bar is amazing, and the new space is, it's pretty impressive.
What plans do you have for the future?
Yes.
Future projects?
Yeah, well, we look to work with university with many different things, and obviously with the whole new campus heart as such, it's kind of the SU's going to play quite a crucial role in university recruitment and things as well. But campaigns again, it is going to be throughout the year, because the general election's coming up. That's a really big one. I want students to get involved in a bit more in politics, understand why their vote's important, and I think nationally there's going to be change to do with student fees, etc. So I want to listen to students' views and what they think a good system would look like, and what they'd like to see. But again, through our SU on Tour campaign, listening to students and what current issues are affecting them, because and then trying to put them right really. And that's it. Make sure that every student is represented, because that's our job really, is to represent the whole student voice and whole student body. Continue to represent all the students. That's about it really.
Well, you're doing a really good job, so.
Oh, thank you very much.
I feel very safe in his hands.
So.
No, not really.
He's all right.
Aim for him. He's fine. Well, I hope you enjoy your drink tonight.
Yes, thank you very much.
Alcoholic or non-alcoholic?
We'll start non-alcoholic, but then we'll see what happens at midnight.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, Will.
Thank you. Thanks, Natalie.
Thanks a lot, Will. Cheers.
In our new Question of the Week feature, we'll be asking students in the SU what they think about the current issues affecting people on campus. Louis went over to Terrace Bar earlier this week, so let's see how he got on.
I'm here in Teesside University's SU to ask the question, do you think it should be a crime to share intimate photos that someone else has sent to you? And I'm here talking to a few of the students about that now. So here's Adam. Adam, what are your views on the issue?
I think it should be a crime to do it. I mean, you've got to ask the question, should people be sending those sorts of pictures, but at the same time you shouldn't be sharing them with other people. They've obviously sent them for a reason, but they're private, so your personal life's getting out there, so I think it should be a crime.
Okay, thank you. And Chris?
Not a crime, maybe not, but certainly don't share it with the public and that sort of thing. But privately, fine.
Privately, yeah. Cool. And Damon?
I'd say maybe not a sex crime, but definitely with the recent kind of leaked photos thing, maybe more of a theft.
It's like an invasion of privacy?
Yeah, maybe more theft than sex.
Okay. Well, you've heard the opinions of some Teesside University students. We'll go back to the studio now.
A young Teesside musician is fast making a name for himself after being hired by an American record producer.
Middlesbrough-born Alistair Sheeran has been taken under the wing of Mark Platty, famous for his work with iconic artists Robbie Williams and David Bowie in the 90s.
Matthew Brown and Jordan Thornhill interviewed him about his recent success.
Well, it started properly when I spotted Miles Kane last year. I got taken on by management, and Steve, my manager, is actually friends with Mark. But he kept this a secret for a while, and he'd been sending him tracks that I'd been doing, like early demos and stuff. I was excited because my first initial reaction was like, wow, Bowie. Like everyone would be. But then when I checked him out, I noticed he's like been working with The Cure, and I produced Robbie Williams as well. Natalie and Bruglia, I remember her. Yeah. I met Mark, we went over a few things, he took my songs apart, a few of them, and presented me with a few ideas about the approach, structures for example, and it was up to me whether we went ahead with it or not, whether we left it in. I have like total artistic control. In one sense, he's a normal person and the enemy are just normal people, but in another sense it was like, oh my god, I saw you perform with Oasis at Wembley Stadium, so it was like, wow. But it was just good, it was a good experience, it was a good buzz, the crowds are great as you can imagine, and the crowds are wild. Made a lot of new fans, sold a lot of CDs, played some great venues. Even before I got took on by management, I supported Miles and played with the enemy and all that. I've been grafting away like around Middlesbrough and doing local gigs and gigging in London, gigging in Manchester, Scotland, etc. So to me it's just part of the journey.
And finally today, our correspondent Mark Riding is starting a new feature on how to cook delicious homemade food at a reasonable price.
And this week Louis was the guinea pig for his famous chili con carne.
Hi, I'm Mark and this is my cooking video on how to make a cheap and easy chili con carne. You will need 1 onion, 1 red pepper, beef mince, Worcester sauce, teaspoon of cumin, chili powder, olive oil, chopped tomato, smoked paprika, tomato puree, 3 garlic cloves and 1 stock cube. Start by carefully peeling and chopping the onion. Next, squash the garlic cloves with the knife and chop finely. And finally, slicing your pepper into thin shards. Right, so get your saucepan, put it on the hob, make sure it gets really hot. Probably take about a minute. Take some olive oil, put it in the pan. First in with the onions. Give them a stir so they go nice and soft. After about 2 minutes, the onions should be cooked. Then add your peppers. Finally your garlic, then stir well. Start making your base by adding all the spices. Stir the mixture until it becomes a thick paste. You can now start your rice. Add about 100 grams to boiling salty water. Then take half of your mince and heat olive oil in a pan. Put it into the pan. Season it, salt and pepper. Brown the mince. Drain the excess fat and then add it to the base. Okay, so now you can start making the sauce. So you go in with the chopped tomatoes, then squirt a tablespoon of tomato puree. Then now add your green beans, and finally with the Worcester. Combine it all together and then make your stock. Crush the cube and add about 300 ml of hot water, adding a bit at a time. Turn up the gas, cover the pan and let it stew for about 15 minutes. When you think it's done, plate up and serve with the rice. Chili con carne, done.
Oh look, he's brought some in for us.
A miracle. Amazing. Amazing.
It's like the birth of baby Jesus. Carry on.
It smells amazing though. I will admit it smells amazing.
Should we try some? Because I'm really hungry.
It's okay,
Go on.
Pick the plate up.
Can you tell, this looks amazing. I'm really scared. I'm really scared that it's really hot.
It'll be fine, trust me.
Are you sure? Was Louis any help? Or was he just a pain?
He assisted reasonably well, I guess.
I think I was quite inspirational in the kitchen, to be honest.
Bystander,
I want some more. It's really hitting the mark.
Oh.
Get it?
Like
no.
that one.
Hitting the mark?
It was a pun. It was punny. No?
How'd you cope with him? I'd have lost my pot with him in the kitchen.
Nah, he's alright. If you just tell him what to do, he's fine.
Does he work in the heat very well?
Don't
know. He's a bit bad. I think he's just going to devour that. Just carry on. Are you finished now? I'm okay, thank you. You finished. And thank you, Matt, for bringing in that delicious chilli.
You're very welcome.
And that's all from us today at TU News. Join us again at Christmas for our special episode. Until then, I'm Louis Scorza.
And I'm Natalie Devonshire.
Bye. See you later.